well, from a theology position, like in terms of PhDs right now, if you look at the area, I think I said this.
You said it to me.
Yeah, if you look at where they're really funding
Yeah.
PhDs, it's this theology and ecology.
Is it?
Yeah, and because there's not a lot written about it,
Mhm.
and so, and there's tons of it in the Bible. Because if you look at it, it is marginalization, and if you look at marginalization in the Bible, that's everywhere.
And stewardship is a real issue in the Bible. It's a real topic,
Absolutely.
right? I mean, we are here to
Well, Matthew
take care
Matthew
for the
25,
earth, right?
you know, I have these talents, and I'm going to give you 3, and I'm going to give you 2, and what do you do with those talents?
Mhm.
And it talks about one, he took them and he just buried them in the ground. He didn't do anything. We took the other and he spent it. You know, he took his talents and he invested them, and he came back with more talents. And I think from a theological standpoint, that's what that's what God's calling us to do, to make something out of what we have and not just destroy what we have, completely.
Yeah.
So there is a lot of that, and there is a lot of writing that's coming out on that. And I would say that the new conflict theory that's around that, which is most of the stuff that's protesting, what's going on in the world, some of that is offering, but I think part of the crux of the spiritual community is they're so concerned about the interpersonal level of feeling and emotion. I am around this, and then what does that mean, or how does that inform my relationship around God? That they aren't looking at the bigger picture. And so, you can look at a ton of writing, but it's all about social connectivity. So all of that should inspire us to be community. And so then the question is, what does it mean to be community? And in that way, it means being transformative. So being transformative in that way means us taking the I think and I feel and it moved me this way to Will also thought and he felt, and it was a little bit different than me, but together we're going to come together. So if it's not inspiring for change, and if it's not inspiring for community, then it's not really working within the religious Christian model. And so that's the impetus to be in the community. That's the impetus to go to church. That's the impetus to say, I'm not just spiritual, but I participate in my religion, and that's what participation in your religion looks like.
Yeah.
And I would say that's true across the board.
I think religion has a real part to play in this.
Well, if you could take
help you
all
with
the
your narrative.
all the evangelical energy in this country, like all the Christian fundamentalist movement, and instead of pointing it at like social issues, pointed some of it at environmental stuff, which there's a little bit of a movement to do now.
Yeah.
Like that could make it like it's
Yeah,
our
seriously.
generation that's starting to think about the environmental stuff more
Yeah.
in that
Yeah.
movement,
And
and
put
it's
action.
also pulling away from their traditional positions on gay rights and
Yeah.
And as
But-
soon as you're able to do that, then it becomes the economic issue for politics.
Yeah, and you can tie morality to it, which is a huge issue that we didn't even scratch the surface of tonight. But Bill McKibben chums around. He takes I don't know, it might be an evangelical, no, an Episcopal, no, what's it?
Unitarian.
Okay.
I know. He takes a few priests and pastors with him, and they sort of introduce him. They give their little speeches before he does his thing. I was outside Romney's office or something a couple months ago, and I listened to some speeches. So there's people on board. There are religious types on board for this kind of thing. I just need to make them the majority voices.
And also, I think people understand the language of violence. And so if I can phrase it in a woman's violence way, if I can frame it in a children's violence way, if you
Yeah.
can frame the environment in a violence way,
Yeah,
for them to understand that
Well,
that speaks a language of
it
comprehension.
does. It does.
And so if you can do that, I think that's incredibly
Yeah,
helpful.
I'm skittish about that. I mean, you tell people we've got 17 years to the point of no return and 37 to the end of human existence. Like, you can call out children and family and grandmothers
Yeah.
and, like, your loved ones. That's who I turn to. That's what my mind thinks of.